question for you, sir.
Councilmember Berg.
Where would you recommend to this body that they find the $7 million to restore service?
From this, I think you should take some of it away from the public relations money that's being spent to advocate the rail project.
Oversight, sir.
Yes, that would be one thing. Mr. Granabusa is from the state that I was born in, and I happened to run into him on bus number 42. And I was polite and I said hello to him, but people, I look at the amount of money that's being spent on the public relations campaign, and then not the local paper, but the independent paper, I believe, or perhaps it was a local paper, stated how many of these people were involved in Mufi Hanneman's campaign in 2006. As I've said, I followed politics and government since the 1970s.
So you found the money?
Well, that's the money right there.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
Yes.
Well said.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Would you consider, when you engage with the Speaker of the House, to let him amend Act 247, Hawaii Session Laws 2005, and that's the 0.5% for the GET rail surcharge?
I don't know anything about the state.
That's why I'm telling you, when you speak to the Speaker of the House,
I'll tell him.
if they would amend Act 247 and allow the rail surcharge to be used for bus service and bus enhancement. We got $850 million in a surplus. They've taken $100 million in a 10% GET cut, right, to process this tax. There's $100 million across the street. $850 million. So my question to you is, would you please consider asking Speaker Say to let the money go for bus service instead of 100% to this rail, and let the people work together on this? Huh? I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
People are very upset, not only with the city government, but the state. People don't listen. They have agenda, and they're going to move ahead on the agenda no matter what. And like someone alluded to, a lot of this has to do with this rail, which I'm so upset about. I cannot understand the ethics of companies paying for political ads with the money we give that company. That is completely wrong, and people know it, and yet they go ahead with it. There's too many people making money off of this. Everything is for the developers. We have people are here to testify, taking time out, because they're being affected by these changes. It affects people, and that's what it should all be about. The people who use the bus and need it, and so forth. But it's not. There's hidden agendas. People want... I don't know why people get such a narrow focus on everything. But we've got to wake up and understand that we have to support sustainability. And now these bus schedules work against it. People are going to... Like this one lady's going to take a car instead of the bus. We don't need people taking cars. We're going to be adding thousands of more houses out in Eva, and we're already crowded. That's thousands of more cars. What are people thinking about? I tell my students at school about sustainability, and they understand it, and they don't understand why our leaders don't understand it. They said, we have an island. We're a small island. We have limited resources. You know, we're limitations, yet they act as if they can go on building and building and building, and without providing for infrastructure such as bus transportation and so forth. It's completely ridiculous. Elementary kids can see it. Why can't our leaders see it? We are an island. And doesn't anybody realize that? It's like being in a rowboat. You can't keep taking more people on and so forth. So, I mean, please, I would plead with the City Council, wake up. Thank you.
And Governor Cayetano fought very hard to enhance the bus system and make a marriage with water taxis, so be it. And they had to get an exemption to the Jones Act, would make it work even better. But those Navitec ships was so successful in my neck of the woods, it went from Iroquois Point to Aloha Tower in 20 minutes in the year 2000. It was so successful, they gave you a bus pass and a boat pass at the very end of that pilot program. And there was even a nonprofit that formed to try to save our ferry service. So it's very big. Thank you for bringing it up.
With some changes, would it be possible to bring that back and use that 100 million to?
Well, that's the 100 million is what the state's taken their cut off
Excuse
the
me, I'm
rail.
going to cut this off. We're not in discussion. Okay, I would appreciate it, members. Save your comments for discussion, please. Councilmember Berg, brief question.
It's brief because you're talking about finances, and you mentioned the lack of running water for sanitation and a restroom. Are you aware? And this is related, Chair. Are you aware of what it costs to park your car at the Honolulu airport a day to park in that parking garage? Do you know what it costs today?
Well, I started using the bus exclusively in 1995, so I don't drive.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it costs $13 for the state to break even to park your car at the airport. It's a $13 charge. What do you think the charge is going to be to park your car at a rail station for a parking garage for the rail?
Well, I don't think
Free.
I don't think we're even
Free.
Okay.
So if you want to park your car at the parking garage for rail, we're subsidizing everybody for a
Councilmember
free
Berg,
ride.
that's soft.
So the question is, we're talking about where do we find $7 million? You know what we're subsidizing? You know where your money's going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I want to applaud you. The train isn't running, but the Heart Director makes 3 times your salary. And when I heard you give this report, it's as if you rode on every bus and you know every stop. And I want to applaud you. I just want to give you kudos. I was very impressed with your analysis and expertise on this bus system. And again, someone else is making 3 times your salary on a rail that's not even running, and I have a problem with that. Here's what I want to get at. I want to get at the following. I'm all in favor if my colleagues would join me. I was the only no vote on Bill 14. I had another objection. I was against the $70,000 to teach adults how to ride a bike. But one of the objections of why I was against that bill was that was the operating budget for the bus. So I was a no vote. I believe that we should go back. If my colleagues would join me, I think we should go into special session and we should find that $7 million ASAP. And that this council has the prerogatives to do that. We can. There's a technical procedure we can do. We can open up the budget. My question to you would be, would you think the mayor's administration would be open to kicking the budget bill, which he did sign already, but kicking it back to the council, working with us to restore those $7 million right now?
Well, you know, Councilmember, if I were just selfish and worried about my own department, I would say yeah. But I watched through the budgeting process. I watched all the other departments as well, and it's not only my department that's taking a hit. All the way across the board, everybody's had to really tighten their belt, and I think everybody's taking their fair share of the hit. And so I think I'm just trying to live within the means that I've been given. It's only fair, given that the other departments also took significant hits in their budget. When
you mentioned the rail is not a party to the bus, we raised, not we, but the mayor's administration raised the debt ceiling, the debt service, and raised that so-called cap of a percentage for the rail. And my understanding is that when you raise that debt service, everything else sacrifices. So I disagree with you on that point. But I want to go back to my colleague over here with the ferry service chair, and that's very quickly, is that when the Land Use Commission approved Joseco's Ocean Point and that marina, I was a party to back in those discussions in the year 2000. And everyone thought that by the time that marina got the last drop of water in it, we'd have water ferries, we'd have the hydrofoils in there. Then the developer says that in order to bring in the hydrofoils, their harbor would not be deep enough, so there wouldn't be the ferry service to begin with. But I want to make this point, Councilmember Cachola, is that when the Land Use Commission brokers a deal with developers, and then the developer decides to renege, and so we're talking about where can we, because in the ORTP, Oahu Regional Transportation Plan, 2025, 2030, 2035, I mean, the feds give us, what, 15 million between Alaska and us as well, is that it's got the Iroquois Point, it's got the Eva Marina, and then the developer says, I'm going to make a pond. It's not a lagoon, it's a pond. It doesn't connect to the ocean. And so this pond, everybody in Eva Beach thought we were going to have a ferry service promised to us 10 years ago, and I could use your help, the administration's help, is that would be to get this council, the permit process, and strengthen up compliance that when the Land Use Commission gives somebody a permit and says, this is what we're gonna broker, this is your obligation to the community, is that we don't let them off the hook like we did. Now we've just lost a water ferry service in Eva Beach. And I think that that's a travesty, Chair. That's my comment.
Okay, thank you.